Well, that was absolutely massive. A statement result. Wow. Just the game. I don't know what to say, guys. Honestly, don't know what to say. Let's start with this. The first half was not great. The first half was genuinely awful. Second half was a lot better. It was the changes. It was obviously whatever Philippe Clement said at halftime. I would imagine it was a rocket up their arse. Yeah, it was just a different performance in the second half. Rangers got bullied in the first half. Kilmarnock were, controlling the game. They were allowed to control the game. And I know the pitch is rubbish, but you all have your off days, of course you do. But I don't think anyone was expecting such a huge drop off in performance from the Hearts game to the first half of that Kilmarnock game. We'll talk through the story of the game. And we'll talk about what's upcoming for Rangers as well over the next few weeks. Especially on the back of the fact that that lot from across the city won 7-1 tonight, keeping up the pressure on the top. And like I've said, you know what, we can say that they're a pish poor team. We can say that they're not great, but I think this title race will go down to the wire. Well, the team that Philippe Clement selected, I think, again, we're looking at it and we know that it was going to be rotated. We know that it was going to be changed. He has a habit of doing that. So obviously Jack Butland in goal, Tav, Goldson, Suter, three of the same back four. The big change there was Borna Barisic, and we are going to have to touch on Borna Barisic's performance tonight. Lundstrom and Lawrence seem to be obviously there. Diamande, McCausland in for Sterling, Cortez and Silva in for Dessers. Subs bench today, McCrory, Ridvan, Dessers, Sterling, Scott Wright, Ben Davis, Leon Balogun, Nicholas Raskin and Cole McKinnon. Obviously, no Ryan Jack and no Kemar Roof. As the manager said, he was not going to risk Kemar Roof on that pitch. So, yes, there was changes. And I think, sometimes maybe those changes can affect the way the team plays. I would have been inclined tonight, and I get the argument for rotation. I understand that argument 100%, but I would have perhaps rotated it more Saturday and maybe gone with the very same, if not a very similar team to the one we played against Hearts. Overall, first half was not great. Yes, Connor Goldson probably should have scored in that first half. That header that was saved, had a chance. There was the Cortez chance as well. A couple of other rough chances there. But overall, Kilmarnock were the better team. I think, penalty, well, what can you say about the penalty? I mean, first of all, you've got to look at where the pressure comes from. It comes from that corner. And you've got to ask, what the bloody hell did Borna Barisic think he was doing in the corner? And he falls over, lies down on the ball, tries to get a free kick, gives away a cut. It was just, again, just absolute pish poor defending from him. And I'm going to, look, that I'm not a big fan of Borna. Look, I think, I'll qualify that. Doing 55, love Borna. I thought it was brilliant. Since then, he's gone downhill. He's gone downhill rapidly. I thought tonight he was absolutely dreadful. I thought he was the worst player on the pitch tonight. He was rightly hooked at half time. And I agree with what my friend Scott McPike said on the Rangers assessment. Borna Barisic should never play for Rangers, should never start a game again for Rangers. It's got to be Ridvan to start every single game between now and the end of the season. I know you've got to have rotation, but Tav doesn't get rotated. Goldson doesn't get rotated. Suter's not getting rotated. You look at teams that go on to be successful, teams that go on to win leagues, to win cups, to win, multiple trophies. Back fours, back fives, if you include the goalkeepers, don't tend to change. It tends to be the attacking players that are rotated. The defence, barring injury, tends to stay the same. And I would urge Philippe Clement, I know he's a huge fan, to keep the team the same, keep the back five the same, keep Ridvan in there. It does seem that he's the only one who's rotated, and Tav never gets rotated. And I get the argument Tav and Goldson don't get international football, so they get a break then. But how many international games we played in the last, month? Not very many at all, if any. So look, give it Ridvan until the end of the season. Let him be the left back until the end of the season. The starting left back, you can always take him off and rest him, but he's got to start for me. Borna Barisic was an absolute embarrassment tonight, an absolute embarrassment. There was that awful tackle as well. He was just awful, absolutely dreadful. He was just embarrassing tonight. So, look, we don't want to see him again. Philippe, we want to see Ridvan until the end of the season. It's got to be Ridvan until the end of the season. I mean, overall, the stats from the game, we'll look at the league table in a moment. 14 shots for Rangers, 10 for Killy, 3 on target for Killy, 5 on target for us, including the 2 goals. 56% possession for us against 44. Passes 333 for them, 435 for us. Our pass accuracy is very much down on what we're used to, 72%. We gave away 16 fouls, 2 yellow cards, 2 offsides, and we had 6 corners. They had 8. Gotta say, I thought tonight Jack Butland was absolutely outstanding yet again. Some fantastic saves. There was a save from Kennedy in the second half, at the start of the second half, where if that one goes in and they go 2-0 up, it's probably game over, isn't it? It's probably, we're going to drop points. They're going to go back to the top. That's where it's going to be. But luckily, a great save from Kennedy from Jack Butland. Performance in the second half did pick up a lot. It was a lot better. We seemed to move the ball a bit quicker, whether it was getting used to the pitch. Also, I think, like I said, a big, huge shout out to this man. Celebrated brilliantly at the end of the game, as always. But, the tactical changes that he made at half-time, the tactical master strokes, again, Silva off, Dessers on. I thought Silva was poor. Not dreadful, not the worst player on the pitch. That was Barisic. But, right changes at half-time to bring on Dessers for Silva, to bring on Ridvan for the awful Borna Barisic. I think with the right changes, it was spot on. Again, he gets his game management right. Again, he gets his tactics right. Again, he gets his team right. And look, let's not beat around the bush. Let's speak in facts. Let's speak in truths here. This is a game that 6 months ago we would have lost. This is a game that under Michael Beale, under Gio Van Bronckhorst, we would have lost. This is a game that we would nowhere near get round to turning it around and fighting back and clawing it back and getting those 3 points that we got tonight. That just wouldn't happen under Gio and under Michael Beale. So, you've got to give Philippe Clement huge amounts of credit for that result tonight and what he did, the way he changed it. It was probably in that first half the worst performance we've seen by a Philippe Clement Rangers team. But, he swapped it round, he changed it, he did what he needed to do. So it was 1-0, that chance to get 2-0, could have easily gone 2-0. Now, he didn't have a great game tonight, but, he did what captains need to do tonight. He stepped up, James Tavernier, he scored a goal, and it was a goal to claw us back into the game. And what a free kick it was. Absolutely brilliant free kick from Tav tonight. I mean, the technique to whip it over the wall, get it down and get it past Dennis, even though he gets a hand to it. An absolutely fantastic goal by Tav tonight. And, you've got to give him credit. That's his 13th league goal this season. He's got 13 goals, 8 assists. That's 21 goal contributions in 28 games. And he's a right back. He scored 3 in the Scottish League Cup, takes him to 16. He scored 3 in the Champions League, takes him to 19. He's just something else. He scored, he scored 20 league goals. He scored 20 goals this season from right back. 20. He's a right back and he scored 20 goals. That was his 121st goal for the club tonight. And look, I know he gets criticised, and I've criticised him sometimes for his defensive abilities, for his performances at times. And yes, tonight wasn't his best performance. Of course it was. I think he will admit that himself. But then again, you look across the whole team and who can say that their performance was perfect tonight? Very few of them. But Tav does what Tav does best, at times when we need him, to step up, to dig us out of a hole. That's what he did tonight. He dug us out of a hole. We were in a hole. We were in trouble. And he digs us out of it. He scores that fantastic free kick. And it's 1-1. And, I think at some point you may have sat back and, well, a draw is a draw. Killy away. Like I said, Killy away was always going to be a tough game. But no, ball goes in, obviously breaks from Cortez to Dessers. Dessers wants about 16 million touches again. I'll touch a little bit on Silva Dessers in the second half. And it breaks. Tom Lawrence, brilliant first-time shot to score the goal to make it 2-1. Turns the game completely on its head. Great celebration from Tom as well. I thought Tom Lawrence played very well tonight. He's one of the best players on the pitch tonight. I think, he did very, very well tonight. He had a great eye for a pass. He proved he wasn't afraid to take a shot. I thought Lawrence was absolutely brilliant tonight. Not brilliant. I think he was very good tonight. I don't think anyone was brilliant tonight, but I think he was very, very good in what he did tonight and the way he played in the game, especially second half. He really picked up. And that goal, first time finish, given Cyril Dessers a lesson in how to finish first time, smashes it in the far corner to make it 2-1. Now, Rangers been Rangers, obviously nervous end of the game, giving away about 16 million corners. But I think we could have had a penalty, not the first one, the Dessers one, where it springs up onto, I can't remember the guy's name's hand. That's just accidental. That's ball to hand. He's nothing you can do about that. That is not a penalty. But if you go back to the second one, I can't remember who it is now that crosses the ball into the box, crosses it in. The guy's hand is not in a natural position. It moves towards the ball and knocks it away. For me, it's a stonewall penalty. And for VAR not to see that as a penalty is an utter disgrace. Yes, their penalty was a penalty. It was a stonewaller. Lunny's an idiot for putting his hand up there. He knows what's going to happen if you put your hand up there. But Philippe Clement's right. In his post-match comments, he said that we should have had a penalty. We should have had a penalty. Of course, we should have had a penalty. That was a stone wall penalty. But as we know, since the agenda that was set by that lot across the city at their AGM, it does seem that we don't get those decisions, that VAR doesn't review them in our favour, and we don't get those penalties. So, look, are we surprised? No, we're not. We still come away with the win, 2-1 win. I did put it 2-1. Go back and check out the video. It was, like I said, a mentality-changing game. It is a game that really shows that this team has a change of mentality, that has a positive can-do mindset, a positive go forward and actually win this league. And it's going to be like this until the end of the season, guys. It is going to be a game at a time, a week at a time. It is going to be one nail-biting game after another for our club. And there we go. We sit top of the league, still 2 points clear of that lot, still 1 goal clear as well. They have obviously scored more goals than us now after their demolition of Dundee, who were just awful tonight. But look, at the end of the day, it does not matter. It's all about us now. We've got to go through our next few games. We've got to win our next few games. That's how it has to be. There is literally, it's in our hands. We've got to keep it in our hands. And if we can get a result, and if we do need to win that Old Firm game in April, if we win that game, then it's 5 points. Saturday as well, we've got a great chance to, obviously, with them playing Sunday, for us to go 5 points clear at the top of the league and again put the pressure on them. And that's what it's going to be about between now and the end of the season, making sure we are constantly putting the pressure on them when we have the opportunity to. Yes, there will be times when we have to play catch up when we're playing in Europe. They're not, because obviously we know they don't like to play in Europe after Christmas. They've got some allergic reaction to it or something. I don't know what it is. But, we look at these next 4 games that are upcoming for Rangers, and we look at, the games that we've got up after this one. So it starts on Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff as Rangers take on Motherwell before we travel to Benfica in midweek on the 7th to play in the Europa League. Back the 10th of March against Hibs away at Easter Road. That's the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup before another Europa League game on the 14th. Then it's Dundee away before we meet. That's going to be a game we've already smashed them at Dens Park, and that lot have smashed them tonight. That again is an eminently winnable game. Then we go home against Hibs on the 30th before the big one on the 7th of April at 12 o'clock. That is a must-win game. That is an absolute must-win game. If we can win that, then it literally does give us one hand on the title. It really does. There are the next few games upcoming, massive few games upcoming, guys. So we do need to make sure we keep on this positive spin. Look, last night was all about a mentality change. It was all about making sure that we win that game. And it was always going to be tough. And I know that people said, oh, it's only Kilmarnock. But, we underestimate. As Philippe Clement said, they've only lost twice in the last 15 games. They were both to us. They're a good team. They're well organised, and they showed that tonight. They did really play well tonight, and fair credit to them. But look, that is a mentality changer. That is a positive. That is a real game changer now, I think, for us. We take that, we move forward, we go on to the next game. It's one game at a time. We go again on Saturday. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. We're top of the league again. We're looking down on that lot, how it always should be. As always, on the way out, 2 things, please. Smash the like. And number 2, remember always, even more importantly tonight, we are the people.